Crossing the Penderel River, we find ourselves at Ione Municipal Airport, Sierra 23, 84 miles north of Spokane, Washington, and 26 miles south of the Canadian border. Greetings, aviators. This is your pilot, Quentin J. Parker. Sierra 23, also known as Robert H. Davis Airport, really is this sparse. Where you see 3 empty squares in the sim, they're buildings. The 5 T-shapes are single-plane hangars. There's also a maintenance equipment shed and what looks like a disused helipad. Oh, as today's destination is just over 300 miles away, I'm taking the mighty, the here TBM 930. So you can see there's not much happening at Sierra 23. But where I'm going, the port of Ilwaco, 7 Whiskey 1, doesn't even have all this. Seriously, there's nothing there but a paved runway, a windsock, some perfunctory lighting, and an empty field for parking. I chose these desolate places as my waypoints because they're at extreme opposite corners of the state. And let's keep it 100. They're never going to see any love otherwise. The direct route will take me near familiar places such as Colville, 63 Sierra, and Chahala Centralia, Kilo Charlie Lima Sierra, even if I'll be too high to see anything. That vehicle is parked in what's supposed to be the helipad. But what's the point if there are no helicopters in the sim? Ooh! Sorry, rotorheads. That sky looked nice. I wanted to go with some more dramatic sunset lighting, but I timed it for later as I neared Ilwaco. Alright, we are established at flight level 160 on course, and all systems are in the green. Okay, let me start by saying that this was not supposed to be a talky video, but so much went wrong with trying to get it flown, recorded, and edited, I just said screw it. Key scenes like this are available as high-definition screenshots, just so you know. The MFD map doesn't indicate it, but we're overflying Lake Chelan, Sierra 10, and that body of water to its east is the Columbia River. But now that I'm safely at cruise, I'm gonna bitch just a little. My initial disappointment with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020's shortcomings have only been compounded by the faults introduced with the third patch. Avionic black screens, VFR map-induced CTDs, Come on, man. Ooh, bumpy. One thing that really pissed me off was the active pause workaround doesn't fix the problem. Right about here was when I thought to employ it for an external action shot. Then, boom! Session ended due to the aircraft being overstressed. When I got back up, I reflew the flight from start to finish, but, and this part is on me, somehow forgot to engage video recording. So from this point forwards, what you're seeing is a third take of the flight with the cloud cover and lighting that I wanted throughout. Sorry if anyone is jarred by the stark difference. More bumps. Again, scenery like this is available as high-definition screenshots and suitable for framing. And just when I thought I was out of the woods, TrackIR failed. This is me trying to get it back up. And it's definitely working, just not in FS 2020. I was too irked to restart the sim to restore it, so I just pressed on. Add this to the annoyances of random and VFR map-induced CTDs. Time to write some little Zendesk love notes. Whoa. On a positive note, the Japan update looks amazing, and I'll post a video or two of me flying those skies sometime in the future. And for those of you that are into that stuff, the development team is doing closed betas for their VR builds, so that's coming sooner rather than later. Doo-doo. To our left is Mount Rainier, its peak shrouded in clouds.
Going to 134.905 Airbus 26 Bravo. Generic 2-tree Alpha traffic is 11 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 200 Airbus A20M. Report them in sight. Airbus 685 traffic is 2 o'clock, 3 miles
That's
at
guy.
flight level 180 generic.
Right there.
Report
That's
them
the
in
good
sight.
stuff, baby.
Airbus Yankee Charlie Tango contact Seattle Center on 120 decimal tree.
Yeah, by the time the clouds cleared Mount Rainier, I was well past it. I think that's Olympia Regional and Gray AAF a little further back. It's at this point that the flight felt a little long for me, like I should have been at my destination already. I'm so used to flying across the upper portion of the state to Seattle that I didn't consider how much time would be added flying diagonally to the south. I may only be 30 miles from Seattle, but I still have 70 miles before landing at Ilwaco. Again, scenes like this are available as high-definition screenshots. Get some for your desktop or mobile wallpaper. In the end, I'm frustrated, but I'm not angry overall. because it's still early, and these growing pains were to be expected, especially with a suspiciously premature release. Secondly, the team's been responsive, for better or worse. We're looking at a 4th update in 2 months this week. Lastly, given time and patience, I feel the sim can reach its full potential. And, just for me, that would be these graphics, with the internal physics of X-Plane 11, and study-level third-party aircraft. All as one tidy, stable install. Hey, one can dream. The last thing I'm going to say about this today is that I don't have children, but I feel flying FS 2020 is a lot like raising a teenager, in that you simultaneously love it deeply, but want to strangle the life out of it when it does dumb stuff.
Airbus November 29685 Seattle Center, continue as planned. Going to 134.905 Airbus 26 Bravo. Generic 23 Alpha traffic is 11 o'clock, 4 miles at flight level 200 Airbus A20M. Report them in sight. Airbus 685 traffic is 2 o'clock, 3 miles at
Alright, I was wrong. There's Chehalis Centralia to the left.
Airbus Yankee Charlie Tango, contact Seattle Center on 120.3.
Generic 23 Alpha, traffic in sight.
So you know,
Airbus 685
I use the Thrustmaster T16000M FCS HOTAS, and since the majority of my civilian non-combat flying is done in a plane with a side stick, I want to try and emulate that. The Thrustmaster stick will allow me to configure it for left-handed operation, but the throttle is molded for the left hand, and super awkward to use right-handed. So I flirted with the idea of getting the Honeycomb Alpha, but first I want to get used to using a yoke in the sim. A few years back I got my hands on the SciTech Pro flight yoke and throttle. Tried it once or twice, didn't like it, put it away. Recently I got the idea to use it alongside the Thrustmaster gear, not instead of. Problem was, it worked fine in FS 2020 but had issues sharing the primary axes in X-Plane. Yeah, well, maybe there's a workaround out there. Just a real quick note, those two landmasses, Sand Island and East Sand Island, mark the state line, and they're on the Oregon side. Since lighting either isn't on or visible, the airstrip is to the left of where the Wallacut River lets out into Baker Bay.
Going to 126.1 Airbus 685.
While keeping an eye out for new planes in development, I see there's a private user working on a Velocity V-twin for flight sim. And TorqueSim/Real Sim have announced the Cirrus SR-20 G3 for X-Plane to be released in the coming weeks. Speaking of SRs, I'm learning to make peace with the stock SR-22 and flight sim. It just feels like a bite in the ass when compared to literally any version in X-Plane. I feel like if I fly too much FS 2020, it ruins my X-Plane experience. What I mean is, the sky and VFR scenery and flight sim look so good that when I'm in X-Plane, I feel like I want to see this scenery in flight sim. And because the flight sim aircraft avionics and systems aren't modeled as deeply as the payware that I'm used to flying, I feel just a little bit out of sorts when I go back to fly in X-Plane. Usually a few minutes with the checklist reorients my mind and puts me right, but still it feels weird. To the west of the runway is the field where I'm going to park. There's a sign on the Stringtown Road calling this area Brant Culberson Memorial Field. Don't quite know if by field it means the airport or just the grassy parking area. Okay, let's see what Port of Ilwaco looks like when the sun's up. Behold. Man, that is one busy little town. It's kind of funny to think about it, but of the two airports for this hop, Ilwaco might be the more accurate. So, is it too early to start talking about X-Plane 12? I'm thinking whatever plans Leminar Research had on the table for the next full version of X-Plane probably got swept off to make room for the blank sheet of paper to start from scratch. There's so much they're going to have to do to remain competitive, but I'm confident they'll step up. Now, what it'll look like in terms of new features, that I can't say. So that's it, aviators. This has been Quentin J. Parker, your pilot, and I am outie. Catch ya.